We watched 688 last night. Tyler Perry must be stopped. I mean, so it's bad. It's bad. And that that it's bad under the again, the guise of producing something that's meant to be for the race, kind of makes it worse because it does tap into, again, the general broad-based desire to be seen, wanting to be recognized. I think it also taps into the backlash against Pan-Africanism and soda, that is the solidarity of dispersed Africans, in that it's also meant to be another one of those "we built this country, it's ours too" type of things. And which is on the one hand understandable, logical. On another, it's again, I think, needs to be seen in the context of a desire to bring Black people here solely within this thing. So there's a couple of allusions to, yeah, I'm not even yeah, I don't think you need to bring yourself to see it. I don't want people to see this. This is not even a I said the other day, it's not even like a Vernon philosophy. It's, the Vernon philosophy is meant to be a reminder when we're drawn to things. This isn't even something I was particularly drawn to. A couple people asked if I would see it, and then I did. I don't know what I was thinking, but I watched it on 1.5 times speed. uh, and uh, But as I said in my notes here, is this new valorized Black people who want to become America while demeaning or ignoring radical traditions. So, of course, Oprah Winfrey comes in here to play Mary McLeod Bethune, but only as the thinnest of cameos, meant to quickly remind us of Bethune's friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt, who was played in cameo by Susan Sarandon, and then as also a reminder in this version of Bethune, and I don't know Bethune's history very well, to show her as I forgot what Oprah's line is, but the line is something again like we did this, we've been here doing this work, so honor us, and we're you know wanting to become part of America. Which again, I get it. It's I understand the logic, given the history, all of that. But the question for me is why this story? Why this framing on this story of all the stories that could be told about World War II, about Black people's participation in that war, or just more broadly, all of the people who in movements within Black history, just in the United States, for these to be the stories we get, is, I think, indicative of this kind of attempt to make conservative and flattened and desirous of being an American that history. It's um so then I copied a couple of notes here from, where did I get this? Where it said the 6888 was created in 1944 in response to pressure from African American organizations to allow Black women in the WAC to serve overseas. The unit was organized in Birmingham, England in 1945 and was led by Major Charity Adams, who was portrayed by Kerry Washington. It's described as a success because the 6888 was given 6 months to complete the mission, but they finished in 3. They sorted and redirected an average of 65,000 pieces of mail per day, totaling nearly 7 million pieces in Birmingham alone. The significance is that the 6888 boosted morale among American service members, U.S. government personnel, and Red Cross workers in Europe. Their story is also a testament to the resilience and perseverance in the face of racial and gender inequality. Like what it would be interesting, even that that film Spike Lee did about black soldiers in fighting in Italy during World War II, no political masterpiece by any means, but it still was more of an attempt to bring some life to black people's contributions, uh, that was told beyond. I mean, it starts it starts with an assassination, with a white man getting shot in the face, which is pretty funny. But the so you could see, even relative to Tyler Perry, again, relatively speaking, Spike Lee comes, he's, at least you can see him trying to do something other than, hey, we're American too type of thing. Uh but there's so many stories you could tell, and I'm thinking, I remember years ago reading one of those good European contributions to African history, Basil Davidson. In Modern Africa, he wrote, hundreds of thousands of Africans fought in World War II on behalf of their colonial uh, powers. Wouldn't it have what Even if it was completely made up, wouldn't it have been dope to see Black American soldiers interacting with continental Africans, and maybe all comparing how, when convenient, they're all dragged into various elements of the war by by their colonizers. I don't know. There's so many things you could do. But of course, they're not able to. They're not allowed to. There wouldn't be Netflix deals and Atlanta complexes for film studios. There wouldn't be all of these white audiences, which is a theme this morning we're going to come back to. Uh, this contradiction that all popular culture in this country is based on, well, obviously the desires of mostly white affluent consumers, or what is meant to be the desires of white and affluent consumers, even when, and especially when, that pop art or culture is the creation of the colonized. But oh, right, I wrote it down. Right, Oprah's line was part of our American democracy. I actually wrote it down. There it is. So that was her line. That was what Oprah's point, and why she would, of course, want to be involved with that. Then, of course, this whole plot line, and I did actually look up a couple of articles, and I didn't see much at all about this romance that the lead character is meant to have had with this white man and a Jew, that starts off the film and then plays itself out throughout the film, as we're shown. And it is true that and I forgot the woman's name, Lena. But this black woman's family did work for this Jewish family in Alabama. So again, we don't get the dynamics of that. And as a result, they do it. There's acknowledged that there was some, at least, friendship that struck up. Now, of course, we could all, suspect what that means, but there's nothing that, I didn't find anything that was written that suggested that this was enormously meaningful, beyond the fact that he does go off to war, he gets killed, shot down as a pilot, and it does inspire her to join. I did read somewhere that that part is apparently true. Now, were they headed towards marriage? Was it some star-crossed love affair? Was it some never got anywhere love affair? He says in the film he's going to promise to come back and marry her. I don't know. I didn't find any. But the point is, cinematically, it's used as a device, not only as a reminder of really, it's meant to be used as a device to show particularly in the hands of Tyler Perry, that this is uh, a good wanting to be American, and the kind of, did you all see the interplay in the film between the lead character's mother and her sister or girlfriend or whoever, who was just depicted as you would expect Tyler Perry to depict a Southern black woman of low resource who I don't know. It was just I just did it was I don't it was some backwards kind of I don't know. But I didn't really but anyway, but she of course is used as the foil or is meant to be the voice of the black community, discouraging of any sort of, don't date the white boy, which is, probably logical. Don't go to war. But she's meant to be depicted as the backwards thinking, meant to be overcome black community that this lead character's family and role are meant to demonstrate is a positive break from. She wants the white man. She wants to go to serve her country. She becomes this. She uses the reappearance of this dead white man's ghost to inspire her through boot camp and inspire her to push through. And it's so much so that it's depicted in the film that when she starts, you see her meet her black husband, and then you see eventually that there's maybe one scene where he of course has to be shown as having to be leaving another woman before coming to this woman. So it's always like this Tyler Perry thing of, all right, I know you're going to end up with the black man, but we have to show that he's the flawed person that you eventually end up with, whereas the dead white man who died as a perfect figure and will always be remembered as perfect is perfect. uh so it was just weird. It was, we don't like, there's no character development, there's no history, there's no, and then the movie just sort of ends with her saying, oh yeah, and by the way, I married Harold. It's like I truly pined for and missed this dead white man, but yeah, I did marry Harold or whatever his name is. Oh, and then I made a note here that the way they introduce her Jewish boyfriend, he's standing up for her against the racist white. So, and it's this old plot device, especially if you grew up watching a lot of this stuff in the 80s. This seemed to be, and I'm sure it's been written about, but this seemed to be sort of the 1980s type of, we're raising a new crop of black kids who are going to see the attempts to integrate, and the people who find the good white person is like, I don't know, it was it reminded me of something from my youth, where we're meant to, it's like an after school special type of thing where he stands up against the racists, and they develop some like football or pilot type of play language to juke around to get to the car, and then they just laugh and drive off together. But they don't really, there's no sex, there's no drinking. He's just this perfect, they're just this, and of course she waits, she's works staff at his family's parties, and then I mean, but anyway, so I wrote here, a Jew who upsets the whites as much as the black folks. So because you see him standing up to the whites. Now, there's no discussion of what it meant for him and his family to be Jews in southern Alabama, in the South in Alabama, and there's none of this is nothing. There's no nothing that could be depicted as, what would, there's nothing. It's just he's the good white guy. And then right, and then typical of Tyler Perry, the black woman in her household, there's no black father. So I wrote here, no word from him versus the white man who went to war. So again, she wouldn't have, anyway, I don't know what happened in real life, but we of course get a version, and it just so happens that the story we get, there's no black father. He's just gone. and the mother's friend or whatever has some little, she even says something like, at one point when the mail is coming and the white man who goes off to war sends the letter to the daughter, the her mother's friend who's always hanging around, again meant to represent the low class black community, she says, out of nowhere, uh that white man barely been gone a month and already sending all these letters where your man ran off for years and never heard from him. It's like, really? Really? That was necessary? He just left? That was it? Again, so we get that. We get the good white man, the absent black man, the black man she eventually marries is just faded, is the flawed, faded in the background. And then there's this line in there that I thought was there's a quick scene in there. I wrote it down that it says the suggestion is that she went to the military to get money for college. They have this back and forth with her mother where they're like, "Why are you doing this?" And she and is why don't you go to college? And she says, "Because I can't afford it." Now they don't say specifically, "I'm going to go and use the GI Bill and come back and go to college," but it's left hanging there like she went there to get money so that she could go to college. And of course, they don't talk about any of the things that would have been very real about how black soldiers who went didn't get the GI Bill benefits. So it's like, well, if you're suggesting that she went into the military to get college money, she probably didn't get the college money. But you're not going to tell that because this is supposed to be a pro-American story. White Man Ghost is inspiration, and then of course we get the ending with Michelle Obama's speech, where in real life she dedicated something to these women. So it all comes back into these are the stories black people are meant to get to support. All right, so that was that. So yeah, I didn't even really, but I figured I'll just go through the notes as we get started here this morning. So as again, good morning, everybody. Oh, you're lost too. We're talking about the 6888 on Netflix. So Shirley, I did see. So you're saying that that romance was made up. The black soldier she met is the man she married and was married to for over 40 years. Why not highlight that that love story? So I did read in one of these history blogs or whatever. They did say that they did acknowledge that the white man existed and that they were friends. He did go off and get killed, and that in one of the articles said that she was inspired to join the military because of him. I don't know. But you're right. The man that she ends up marrying and living with for 40 years, who was also there in the war, by the way, he was a soldier too. Uh, yeah, you don't have to rewind. Yeah, just stay lost, Zenzi. You know, but you know. Yeah, we're talking about the Netflix joint, the 6888 Netflix joint. No, don't watch the movie. I honestly don't know why I usually ignore Tyler Perry stuff. A couple people asked me to watch it, but usually that wouldn't have been enough. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what was happening. But I should go get some therapy and find out what's going on in my life that would subconsciously work or consciously work to make me watch that because I can't stand it. But uh I mean it's bad too. And then it's not even, he doesn't even make good movies that are just bad politically. Like he somehow can make decent actors come across worse, and he can certainly find people who are not great at acting. And he doesn't whoever's whether it's his scripts or his directing, he doesn't elicit, or he doesn't you know, conjure up good performances in the people he's working with. It was just a mess.